Alrighty, that concludes the Battle of Ontario for tonight. Oddly, this is actually the second game for these two teams that I've done this year. I did a preseason game review for Senators versus Leafs, and now we're doing a regular season game review for Sens versus Leafs. Yeah, this is an interesting game, definitely. Starting off, we had some pregame drama. Murray was a game time decision after he got hurt in practice, or he had a lot of pain in practice, apparently. And apparently we heard midway through that Erik Kallgren was called up to be the backup, and that basically meant that Matt Murray wasn't going to play. But then we found out that Matt Murray is heading to LTIR for Toronto. So this Maple Leafs team really betted on Murray to be their starting goaltender, and now he's on long-term injury reserve. And now all eyes lie on Ilya Samsonov, and I think honestly he played pretty well tonight. So the goaltending tandem was Samsonov versus Forsberg. So obviously there you have two goalies. It's funny how the Battle of Ontario was usually supposed to be like Talbot versus Murray, but now it's Samsonov versus Forsberg. It's very strange how that happens. But yeah. First period, there was a Tavares shot that was stopped. A bunting chance that was stopped. A Tavares chance yet again that was stopped. Tavares looked pretty hot early. I'll give it to John Tavares, but he kind of cooled off towards the end. There was a Giroux shot that was stopped, a Batherson chance that was denied, a Riley chance that was stopped, and then we had a penalty. This one went towards Mitch Marner for holding, so Marner obviously went to the box there. Really, we get to see Ottawa's first power play in full form. Obviously, they didn't do too well against the Sabres. They were like 0-6 apparently, or 0-4. I'm not entirely too sure, but they did not do too well. There was a Sanderson shot that was stopped, and then the Senators get themselves on the board. A goal from Shane Pinto, his first of the season from Claude Giroux, his first point as an Ottawa Senator, and Jake Sanderson, his first career points. We saw a lot of milestones tonight. That is something we did see a lot of tonight, and we saw some players edge closer to some of their milestones as well. There was a Tkachuk shot that was stopped, a Kerfoot shot that was denied. Sandin looked in pain. They never showed the clip as to why, but he looked in pain. He looked hurt, but then he was fine afterwards. He must have taken like a block shot or something somewhere, but they never showed the clip, so I had no idea. There was a Kerfoot chance that was stopped, a Shabbat chance that was stopped. Shabbat looked very active in this game on that blue line for Ottawa. He was very impressed. I was very impressed. There was a Marner chance that was stopped, a Brody shot that was stopped, and a Matthews shot that was denied. And Mark Kastelik, a player who's not well known, who probably Toronto fans were like, who? Yeah, nobody had no clue who Kastelik was. I knew who Kastelik was, but I never knew him well. He looked okay tonight. Really showing some physicality, and that's something I noticed throughout this entire game. There was a lot of physicality. If you notice, there was a lot of hooking. There was a lot of interference penalties. There was a lot. There was a lot of physicality tonight, and when we get to the final stats of the game, you will realize that as well. There was a Shabbat shot that was denied, and that pretty much did it for the first period. So it's 1-0 Ottawa after one. But Toronto really, honestly, although Toronto let in shots, Ottawa kind of took over this game. And that's something really Ottawa was trying to build on. I didn't watch that game versus Buffalo, their opening night game, but really, they looked solid tonight. They did look pretty good. Although they lost 3-2, they only lost with like a minute 18 remaining. So really, they played pretty solid tonight. Second period, there was a DeBrincat shot that was stopped. DeBrincat, I thought, looked solid. There was a Matthews wraparound that was denied. There was a Norris chance that was stopped. And then a Pinto shot that was also stopped. So really, you see a lot of the young guys getting themselves on the board here, making a lot of chances, and that's something that I did notice. And that is something that I definitely liked while watching this game. Then there was an Ottawa penalty on Tim Stutzel for hooking. The power play was killed off. There was a Shabbat chance that was denied, a Giroux shot that was stopped, a Nylander chance that was denied. Really, and by the way, in that power play, nothing happened. Like, literally nothing happened. The Senators just held Toronto out for that entire power play. Not looking good so far. But yeah, there was a Shabbat chance that was stopped. Another Giroux shot that was denied. Nylander had a lot of chances again tonight. He looked solid. There was a Muzzin shot that was stopped and an Engvall chance that was stopped. And then Toronto gets themselves a penalty here. It's David Kampf for hooking. There was a Tkachuk shot in there that was stopped. And then there was a Peter Engvall shorthanded chance that was denied. But then eventually the power play was killed off. And then late in the second period, we see a goal from David Kampf. This was huge for Toronto. Assisted by Muzzin and Yarncrook. Yarncrook's first point as a Maple Leaf, if I'm correct. And it is tied at 1. It was very clutch. It was huge for Toronto to get that goal, definitely, because if they didn't score that, this game could have gone a whole different way. It was tied 1-1 after 2 periods. After that, then the shots were 23-17 in favor of Toronto. So really, although Ottawa was playing solid, Toronto still stayed on the board and still let in shots throughout the whole game. In the third period, there was a DeBrincat chance that was stopped. DeBrincat looked very active tonight. Was trying to get a goal, but he just couldn't. There was a Kampf shot that was stopped. Marner hit the post. That was something else I saw. There was a Stützle chance that was stopped. Stützle looked very active tonight as well. There was a Matthews shot that was denied. Matthews getting shots on net, but kind of struggling to score. We saw this last season, though, so I'm not going to go overreacting about it. We saw this last season where Matthews kind of struggled to get off to a good start. I'm not going to overreact to it, but just thought I'd bring it up. Shots were 27-24, Toronto halfway through. So really, it was competitive, but Toronto still let in shots. It was a very competitive game by Ottawa. I'll definitely give it to them there. Then there was an Ottawa penalty on Tkachuk for interference, and that led to a power play Toronto goal. It's from William Nylander, his second of the season from Matthews and Tavares, and he makes it 2-1. Now, this is the one thing I noticed. Ottawa really got relied on they all went to this one player on the Leafs. They all went to Bunting, if I'm correct. All of them just went towards Bunting and didn't cover the rest of the zone. And they left Nylander pretty much wide open, and there he goes. He scores, makes it 2-1. So that was really a struggle there on Ottawa's penalty kill, but they looked solid apart from that. Really, apart from that one chance, they looked good, and that's crazy to see that one chance. And that's all it takes. That one chance just killed him. But it didn't kill him at that moment. Zaitsev went down the tunnel. He looked hurt. We'll probably get a reevaluated update on him later in the coming days. Then Ottawa ties up the game from Claude Giroux, picks up a rebound. His first as an Ottawa Senator from Alex DeBrincat. His first point as an Ottawa Senator, and Thomas Chabot there as well. It's 2-2. So right there, anything can happen. A Brody shot was wide, and then Toronto scores. It's from Justin Holl, his first of the season, from Bunting and Marner. Marner's third assist of the year. And yeah, it's 3-2. Just like that. And really, Forsberg was deep in his net. Holl made the play. He tucks it through past Forsberg. It's 3-2. Ottawa pulls their goalie with about 1:37 remaining. And that pretty much did nothing. Final score here. It's 3-2 in favor of Toronto. My personal 3 stars of the game had to be Justin Holl at number 1. Obviously, the game-winning goal. Samsonov at number 2 came in as an emergency goaltender. Looked pretty solid. And then Forsberg I put there also as a 3rd star because he looked solid as well, denying Matthews, Nylander. He denied some pretty good players and some pretty good chances. But yeah, for some of the stats, shots were 32-27 in favor of Toronto in shots. Power play percentage, there was a total, I think, 6 there was a total of 3 between both teams. There was a total of 4. I'm stupid. There was a total of 4 between both teams, and I was thinking 1 for 2. I'm like, wait, is there 3 for team? No. No. So there was 4 for both teams, and they were 1 for 2 each. Hits actually were 53-37 in favor of Ottawa. So you had about almost 100 hits in this game. So it was interesting. There was a lot of physicality, but hey, it is the Battle of Ontario. But yeah, overall, good game by Toronto. They play Arizona on Monday, but Ottawa, I thought they did still play solid. They still played a really solid game, and this team is definitely better. They're getting way more competitive. The future is bright, but obviously Ottawa's in town against Boston for their next game. But yeah, that does it for this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you all very much for watching. For us supposedly, I really do appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe down below. If you are new, we are just 18 subscribers away now from 2,000. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.